Good day, everybody. This is Casey with Align Astrology. Today, we're talking about the new moon in the sign of Taurus. Now, usually, when we think about the new moon in the sign of Taurus, we think about all the very positive and beneficial qualities of Taurus, the sensuality, the comfort, the beauty, the harmony, the quality over the quantity. But this new moon in Taurus is a little bit different. Today we're going to talk a little bit about one of the fixed stars, and this fixed star is Algol. This fixed star is conjunct the new moon in Taurus. So that changes the flavor of this new moon. When any planets are conjunct a fixed star, they are strongly impacted by that star. So as we look into the astrology for May 16th, we'll talk about a few days before and a few days after so we can get a clear insight of what this new moon is building for us. As new moons can be like the planting of seeds or new beginnings, we get an opportunity to see how the flavor of Algol affects this new moon. So just to begin today, speaking about the fixed star Algol, it is a star that is considered one of the most malefic fixed stars. And the ancient astrologer Ptolemy, he said that this fixed star carries the energy of Saturn and Mars together in some sort of traditions. So we've been thinking about and experiencing that Saturn Mars energy together in the sign of Aries. And in my own personal experience, it's been quite challenging as a Scorpio rising, experience it in the sixth house. It's been affecting my vehicle a lot lately, and my efforts towards work, moving towards the goals that I wish to achieve, and hitting walls and finding that things aren't sticking for the efforts. So it's like I've heard some people say that when Saturn and Mars are together, it's like we're pressing down the gas and the brake pedal at the same time. But I've noticed from the last month or so, different things going on with my vehicle, driving and hitting speed traps and getting a ticket, or hitting a nasty pothole and having to get my tire changed. So it's kind of like moving to where you're going, but being stopped by the things of your daily life. In my own experience, maybe it's a little bit different for you, but we can still notice that Saturn and Mars experience in our life. So there's gratitude coming from me since Mars is going to be moving into Taurus. Although Mars is considered to be in detriment in Taurus since it's opposite of Scorpio, people don't usually think that it's a positive thing here. But when we think about the dignities, the essential dignities of astrology, these are a natural occurrence. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when a planet is in detriment, that it is going to always be just the worst thing. We still want to take on the understanding of what the planetary characteristics are, such as Mars with action and forward motion, moving into the sign of Taurus. Now we can understand the challenging aspect of that with Mars, which wants to move forward, moving into Taurus, which likes to go slow. We can understand. But when Taurus begins to get the ball rolling, think about a snowball rolling down a mountain. That snowball begins to pick up speed, it begins to pick up snow, it begins to grow and move faster and faster. This is sort of how Taurus works. Taurus takes a while to get going, a while to build up, and once it goes, it is very difficult to stop. But Once that action stops, it's very difficult to keep it going again. This is the challenge that Mars faces in the sign of Taurus. So when we're taking actions in this part of our experience, and we can look at our new moon as we will today and understand which part of our lives this is affecting, and we can understand where we need to take action, what we need to move forward in, and what we need to be consistent in. Because the sign of Taurus as an earth sign is of materialism, right? Very materialistic values, likes the quality things, all the good things in life, like good food, good environment, relaxation, rest. All of these things are good, right? They are good for us. It's important for us to rest. But it is also important for us to be consistent in the things that we want. And Mars being in this place is going to show us where we need to remain consistent. And if not, we're going to find that wall real fast. So, with all that said in regards to how Mars and Saturn operate together, like pressing the gas and the brake pedal down, this is sort of like the energy that Algol will present to the sign of Taurus for this new moon. Now, Algol is represented as the head of Medusa, and maybe you know the mythology of the warrior Perseus, who cut the head of Medusa off, and he was able to basically save her from a life of pain and toil. So when we look at the sign of Taurus for this new moon in conjunction with the fixed star Algol, we can start to formulate our own ideas. We can begin to turn the jewel. So as my teacher likes to say, we can begin to see these different connections, these different aspectual conjunctions in different ways. So let's pull up the astrology chart so we can do some delineations for this new moon. And we're going to look at this new moon is going to be culminating on May 16th, but let's move back just a couple of days to the 14th. And the reason we're starting here a few days before the new moon is because I want to speak about Mercury, which is going to be also conjoining this new moon that is culminating. Now, Mercury is going to enter into a Cazimi with the sun on the 14th. So we know Mercury as a messenger of the gods. It's one of the fastest moving planets in our traditional planetary bodies. And every time Mercury comes into a Cazimi with the sun, it is through the beams of the sun. Any planet that is within an 8-degree orb range of the sun is considered to be under the beam, so it is burning up and dying. But when that planet meets into the same conjunction, the same minute of the same degree, the same minute of the sun, it is considered to be Cazimi, so it basically receives high praise, a rebirth. So Mercury connecting with the sun, gaining insight and clarity around the things that we are represented for, or represented within our personal lives based off this astrology sign in our moment. We can understand that maybe we gain a burst of clarity, insight, and ideas for this new moon. Mercury is our mind, it's our communication, and this gives us an opportunity for that seed planting. This is the precursor to such things. So Taurus, which is considered with our beauty, our harmony, our creativity, can give us an insight and understanding that can lead us into a direction that we might want to move forward in. And this is going to pertain differently to each one of us based off of our rising signs. And if we have the time today, we'll do a little bit of horoscopes. But moving to the 15th, we see that Mercury begins to separate and conjoin with Algol. And we spoke about any planet within a conjunction to the fixed star Algol is going to receive an experience. Any planet conjoining any fixed star within 1 to 2 degrees is going to be tremendously affected. So this day prior to the new moon in the sign of Taurus, Mercury, our communication, our mind, can be presented with something that causes us to come to a standstill for a moment, that causes us to think and strategize and plan for the things to come. And sometimes this is a positive thing, but with the planetary bodies in the sign of Aries that we've been dealing with, maybe we feel stuck, or maybe we feel like we've been running into walls for the last month and a half, 2 months. Maybe it feels like the things that we're trying to do just aren't moving to our own liking. So when Mercury runs into this place, maybe we start looking at the things that rule Taurus, our material values, our finances, things along these lines, our food systems. Maybe something's going on in the mundane world in regards to our food systems with this new moon. We begin to think about our own personal security internally. And it's important to take these things into consideration because it's real world activity. But these things are also, once again, are going to be affecting us in our own personal lives. But on the 16th of May, we have that culmination of the new moon in a conjunction with Mercury and Algol. So, new beginnings, seed plantings. It's also important to speak about the mutual reception that we have between Venus and Mercury. Now, these two planets are in one another's domiciles, their homes. So, although they are not in any sort of aspect with one another, they don't have any conjunctions, sextiles, squares, etc. But they are in a mutual reception, which is sort of a secret conjunction. They work with one another. They're in one another's homes. It's like you're at my house and I'm at your house, and we're having a conversation. You're trying to tell me where the bread and cheese is to make a grilled cheese sandwich, and you know exactly where these things are in your own home. So when we think about these two planetary bodies and communication with one another, they are receiving benefit in these cases. Mercury is receiving benefit from Venus in its house. So, although we are afflicted by the fixed star Algol in this case, maybe that petrification in our moment, that forced standstill that we may be presented with, is very important for ourselves. And when these things come up, it's important for us to realize that there's not much we can do about it, like just simply looking at our experiences, once again, that we spoke about with Mars and Saturn. We can push as much as we want, but that brake pedal's right there, where it's like we go stand by a concrete wall and we do our best to just push it over. Well, we can try, we can put our greatest effort, but we can see how far we get after those efforts are done. So maybe we can lean into this standstill, if that's what it presents itself as. Maybe we can lean into this opportunity for stillness, because that's what new moons represent for us a lot of the time. We can use these as an opportunity for planning, strategic assessment, and even harmony and connection with the people around us. We also must understand that Taurus is one that loves love, that loves comfort and connection. So maybe it's an opportunity to spend time with family, our loved ones. It's an opportunity to do things that are going to be fun for us, that are going to help us relax. Because when we can really relax and we can see what we need for ourselves, the security we need, maybe we have a better idea of what direction we're going to move into. If we move the chart forward a couple of days to the 19th, we have Mars moving into the sign of Taurus. Now, when Mars moves into Taurus, like we spoke about earlier, it becomes afflicted as well. It moves into its detriment place. However, it may work out for us because we've reached that point of standstill, possibly with the planet Algol, or the fixed star Algol, afflicting the new moon. And we have come to a moment of meditation, a moment of internal ponderance. And now with Mars here, we get an opportunity to move forward on that. And maybe it doesn't move so fast. We just have to be mindful of these things. This is the great benefit of astrology here, because it allows us to know what's going on, as opposed to feeling frustration and even anguish because things aren't working out how we want them to. Because we don't have much control over life. We can look at our own experiences and the experiences of other people and notice that sometimes life is just happening around us, and we have choices. That is simply all that we have to make in order to kind of work our way through these experiences and notice what can come through that. When this planet Mars moves into the sign of Taurus, it's going to be in a sextile aspect with Venus, which recently just moved into the sign of Cancer. So both of these planets are kind of moving together. But we also must talk about Mars in a sextile to Venus, because Mars is in the home sign of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So we can understand that maybe we are, because the planet Cancer, or the planet Venus is in Cancer, we're thinking about our families. We're thinking about our emotional security, our emotional well-being, the things that we need for home, comfort, support, care for our families. These things are being supported by that Mars now in Taurus, because sextiles carry the energy of Venus, a harmonious, supported effort here. Maybe the things that we're working towards now are going to be beneficial to our families. Maybe that standstill, that new beginning with the new moon here, is giving us some insight, some clarity on the direction that we need to be taking. So we are now building those blocks to begin to move forward. We're getting the snowball rolling down the mountain, and it's going to begin picking up speed, so we can begin to understand how this new moon in Taurus is going to be a beneficial time for us. Although sometimes things in the beginning may not feel like it, because we live in the microwave society, this microwave age where we need things now. It's important to notice that life just doesn't work that way. And in our rest, in our stillness, is where we can truly learn how we need to behave, who we need to be, and which direction we need to move in. All right, friends, yeah, let's take a little bit of time to do some horoscopes. They're going to be a bit quicker today. And we're going to start with Aries. For Aries risings, and once again, you can listen to these horoscopes for your rising sign. If you like to listen for your sun sign, as always available if you get something from it. We can think about astrology as a form of divination. So there's no set rules as to what you should and should not do. There's many different forms of astrology. We have Vedic or Jyotish astrology. We have Hellenistic astrology, which I offer. We have modern astrology, evolutionary astrology. There's many ways to turn this jewel of divination. So don't limit yourselves to what somebody else says that you can use this spiritual science for. So once again, for Aries rising, you're experiencing your new moon in the sign of Taurus in the second house. Second house is our assets. It is our self-worth, our financial well-being. It is also correlated with food and the things that are connected to us. When we have a new moon in any house, it is a new beginning. In the sign of Taurus, it is an opportunity for us to go inward, for us to understand and restructure our material succession, the things that we want for ourselves. Since Aries is ruled by the planet Mars in the first house, maybe you've been running for a while. You've been trying to take actions towards the things you want for yourself, your life, learning what it means to express yourself, and just not meeting those goals, because Saturn here has been slowing you down, calling for strategies, calling for adjustments. So maybe there's clarity, maybe there's insight here, maybe there's an opportunity to just pause. And sometimes I know Aries doesn't like that, but it is necessary to pause once in a while. And when we can pause and notice what direction we're going in, then we can run full force. For Aries rising, Taurus rising, experiencing the new moon in the first house. New moons in the first house, our new beginnings around the self, how we wish to present ourselves, and what we even think about ourselves in this case, since this new moon is in a conjunction with both Mercury and Algol. So, what causes us to choke up? Causes us to come to a standstill? What are we hiding from in regards to ourselves? And when we think about Algol as well, it can also be correlated with trauma, you know. And sometimes when trauma comes in, depending on what kind of person we may be, maybe we lose the thought, we lose the ability to respond, and we enter into a phase of stillness or shut down, and it doesn't really feel good. It feels like a helplessness sometimes. So maybe this opportunity, if something along those lines comes up, we can lean into it. We can invite the stillness. We can invite the moment of silence, so we can begin to notice and observe ourselves in these moments and really understand what we need, as opposed to trying to support and help the people around us. This is about us, if you're Taurus risings. Gemini risings experiencing the new moon in the 12th house. The 12th house is a place of solitude, is our subconscious mind. It is an opportunity for us to understand the deeper parts of ourselves. And usually when we have new moons here, it can sometimes feel like it's going right over our head. But since we have Venus in our first house, it's going to be wrapped around our values, the things that we want in our life experience, the things that are beneficial to us. So since Mercury and Venus are in that mutual reception, we're getting a taste of our subconscious mind. And it's through the actions that we've possibly been taking, the connections that we've been having with our community, the things that probably have been holding us up, and we get to see them firsthand in our own experience. Maybe through the solitude, through the moments of stillness that might not always feel so good. And we just want to continue to reiterate that when we're experiencing new moons on the fixed star Algol, it may feel like that, this restlessness, this I need to be doing something, you know, like if you live in America, a lot of us are driven by that goal oriented mindset, to where we must work hard, we must sleep less, we must do the things in order to achieve the goal. But a new moon here in the sign of Taurus is opening a door for us to show and see the importance of some relaxation. So allow that to be. Find some harmony in this stillness, Gemini. Cancer risings. New moon, 11th house, community. Finding a harmonious community. Maybe we've completed our connection with a community. Maybe we've began to think about where we need to be and move towards a new community. With Mercury here, we're getting clarity and insight. Just to continue speaking about the mutual reception between Venus and Mercury, we can see the importance of communication. We can see the importance of connection and harmony with other people. So, where are we finding ourselves? Where do we keep finding ourselves? And it feels like we're stuck. It feels like we can't leave this place. Maybe there's a lesson in a community and connections with other people that we need to see. Maybe there's an opportunity to meld deeply with others, to be able to support and care for others, or receive support and care from others in a community and connection. So we need to take these things into consideration and notice where we've been moving too fast, and notice where we need to slow down just a bit. Leo rising, you experience this new moon in the 10th house. In career and public role, what the world sees you for, and it can be seen as a slow new beginning along the career path. Maybe it feels like we've been taking action. We've been trying to find a job. We've been interested in changing a job. And now we just need to take a moment for ourselves. And we can even use meditation as a great benefit in this case. And notice what we want for ourselves, what we need for ourselves, what kind of security is going to be beneficial for us, because Taurus is one of the signs that craves security for its own happiness. It wants to be able to relax, and it's very difficult to relax when we are in stress. So with that planet, or the fixed star Algol here, calling things to sort of a halt, that petrification. I like to think about that when it comes to seeing this star as Algol. It can also be like a protection. We haven't received what we need yet because we're being protected from the things that we don't need. We're taking a moment for ourselves to see what direction is really presenting itself, so we can begin to build in that direction. And when Mars moves into the 10th house on the 19th, maybe we begin to move in that direction. So be mindful as these days come, and we can find some genuine clarity around our career, or what the world sees us for, what we're meant to do. Virgos, we have new moon in the 9th house of higher learning, your schooling. I know a lot of people with Virgo energy, and you guys love to learn, and sometimes that becomes the thing. I don't know enough, I need to know more, so that way I can share it. Because Virgo is a great teacher. You are very good at it and want to be perfect, and that's the hindrance. So maybe there's an opportunity to slow down for a minute, slow down for a moment, and integrate the things that we've been learning, to allow our mind to receive, and then maybe we gain an opportunity to share. That mutual reception shines brightly here with Venus in the 10th house. So maybe our values are being recognized by ourselves, so that way we can share them in our career or public role. Maybe we're learning to actually use the things that we've been learning and share them with the people that we are connected with in order to receive, because of course Virgo is another earth sign that relies heavy on the materialism, and it's not always a bad thing, friends. When we get into mysticism and spirituality, we think that the physical is bad, like we need to be separate from it, but it is all one thing. The physical, the spiritual are all connected. So there are many ways through the path. There are many ways to the top of the mountain. So with Mercury conjoined this new moon, which is the ruler of Virgo, it's very important for us to notice our mind, notice how we're communicating with others, and notice what we need to share. It's going to come through this time. And when Mercury not Mercury, but when the planet Mars moves into the 9th house, we'll begin to be able to take more action along these lines. Libras, we experience this new moon in the 8th house. Now, 8th house as the place of karmic debts, the place of other people's money, the esteem of others. It can also be the karmic contracts, like the relationships that we've been a part of, that usually come to an end when we start looking at this house, right? When we have a new moon here, once again, these give us the opportunity to see something that we need to grow, something that we need to build. And maybe there's been a standstill, maybe there's been a slowdown in this place, and the mind can once again be restless. It wants to move. It wants to take the action, and it's not allowing for relaxation to be available. So we have to kind of work for it here. We have to allow it. Like I said earlier, this is something we need to learn to lean into. And soon, within the next couple of days, or May 19th, Mercury is going to be moved into Gemini already. Mars is going to move into Taurus. And Venus, your ruler, is going to be in 10th house. So we need to see all these things as connected, not separate stories, but one linear story, or we can even call it a cyclical story, because that's what life is. Life is like a cycle. We get presented with different options and opportunities in our lives to help us to see ourselves more deeply. So what is this new moon showing us in the 8th house of karmic debts, or how other people see us? What do we need to allow ourselves to share, to feel more authentic? Because a lot of the time that energy of Libra wants to share itself, but shares itself in a way to be received. So how do we do that in a way that's genuinely beneficial for us? Not simply what we think is good, but how do we do that to really be benefited? For Scorpio risings, we have this new moon in the sign of Taurus in the 7th house of one-on-one relationships. In traditional astrology, the 7th house is also represented as the place of endings. And since Mercury, or not, let's talk about Mercury in a minute, but since Venus is in the sign of Gemini and Mercury in the sign of Taurus, that mutual reception is connecting us to the 8th house. Once again, also karmic ties. So we can take a moment for ourselves and notice what the mind is showing us. Great opportunity for meditation at this point in time, so we can understand the karmic experiences that we may be going through. The standstill that is important for us to see in this time, because soon we'll begin to understand why these things have been happening, because otherwise, what's the point of living? We need to learn something when we come here. We don't just get born. We're not just born to do whatever and then die. What's the point? Like, and a lot of the times we don't usually think about these things, and if we do, that's great. Birth and death are of cyclical nature. They need one another to be present. But in the meantime, we need to be doing something here that's beneficial. Because if we have this consciousness, if you can listen to what I'm saying right now, if you can understand that there's something more than to what we think, there's something more than to just this person, Casey, right here, that we really need to take a moment and look at ourselves and really ask ourselves, what is this? What's going on? We can take an opportunity to understand these endings that present themselves in our lives, to help us see ourselves better, to help us look at the relationships in our lives in the mirrors, so we can really begin to notice what this is for, so we can find the genuine blessing that it is to be alive. Because a lot of the times we can take life for granted, and sometimes these opportunities for that standstill are exactly what we need to find the gratitude in our lives. So for that seventh house experience, what's coming to an end? What needs to begin? And how are we really understanding the importance of benefiting, or the importance of building our relationship connections, being authentic in these relationships, and finding the value of connection with others? Sagittarius rising, You experience this new moon in the sixth house of work, health, and service. This is our daily experiences, but it is also the things that we do, the efforts that we take. It can give the same energy that I've been experiencing in my own personal life as a Scorpio rising with the sixth house here. Since Algol is here on this new moon, is giving us the standstill is holding us up right now. But Mercury here is giving us an opportunity to see where's the outlet, where can we move forward, what connections, what relationships are giving us an opportunity to break free from this halt in our experience. It's important to understand that Mercury is also representative of the 10th house for you. So maybe it is correlated to your career. Maybe it is correlated to a relationship that's coming in, a conversation that you have, a clarifying idea that comes up. Notice what's going on over these next couple of days, Sagittarius. Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising, you get to experience the new moon in the fifth house of creativity. Maybe it feels like your creative endeavors have just been hitting a wall. Maybe we've been trying to have a child or build a business, and these things just haven't been working out to our own benefit. So now that standstill, that opportunity where we can realize, okay, the things I've been doing just haven't been working. We get an opportunity to find a new way to go about these things. This mutual reception just shines so brightly for each one of the rising signs today. I think it's important to speak about that sixth house, that mutual reception between the fifth and sixth house, Mercury and Venus. The sixth house of chopping wood and carrying water can show us that our values are going to be important for the creativity that we want to represent. So we cannot move forward until we are clear on those values that we want to present to the public, present to the people that we're being beneficial to with our efforts that we create. So just understand what that is for you. Take a moment for yourself and recognize that. Aquarius, we experience this new moon in the fourth house, home, family, foundation. An opportunity to understand that maybe we've been taking some efforts behind the scenes towards something we want to achieve. Maybe we've been trying to update our house, build our family in a better way, have more harmony and peace in this place of solitude, the place where nobody sees us, the place that we want to make into a home. We can understand here in the fourth house that stillness is necessary for us to find some genuine clarity of what we need, what feels good in this place, what's going to make our house a home, what's going to make our family more connected, more integrated. How can we find some romance in our relationship? Aquarius risings. And our final sign, Pisces rising, you experience this new moon in the third house of our daily experiences, our day-to-day movements, and our sibling relationships. With a new moon here, conjoin Mercury and the fixed star Algol, it's allowing us to see what's been holding us up and why. Because Mercury giving us an opportunity for some clarification in stillness is opening the door for us to see. We have that mutual reception with Venus in the fourth house. So it can also express the importance of our connections with our siblings, the importance of connections with the people we see on a daily basis. The conversations, the countless conversations that we may have had that have went over our head that we have not reflected on, that we've not been mindful of. Maybe it's opportunity to go back to the drawing board to go back through our experiences, to retrospect and understand how these things have been hiding from me. with the planet Mars preparing to move into the third house, we can begin to move forward in these connections and our daily efforts in a very positive way, and understand the benefit that it's going to create in our experiences, because we're moving into a time where it seems that the connections that we have are becoming more and more prevalent. With Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, these things are beginning to show themselves. We have Mercury, which just received the planet Uranus. These planets are going to come into a trine aspect. They're going to start showing themselves moving into June. It's going to be a lot of different experiences. So this moment of stillness with this new moon is very important for us to slow down and notice the direction that life is taking us in. That brings our horoscopes to completion. Remember, friends, with this new moon, of course, harmony and peace and relaxation are very important. But we also have to understand that the efforts that we've been taking are not necessarily in vain. They've been pushing us to a point to where we must relax, we must pause, we must experience what is going to come next through our momentary stillness. If you like this video, friends, please like and subscribe so that way someone like you can receive the algorithm and receive this information. It helps this channel grow, so we greatly appreciate you here. Until the next time, friends, this is Aligned Astrology. We'll see you soon.